This video is made possible by our loyal Patreon supporters. Visit patreon.com/PsycheTruth.
Hey, it's Corrina, your virtual health coach. And in this video, I want to share with you some easy ways to lose weight. Now, losing weight isn't necessarily easy, but the bottom line is that if we can start integrating some pretty simple habits and changes in our life, we can have really dramatic results. So my focus here is giving you some hopefully simple little ideas that you can start applying into your life right now. If you have a specific food you're wondering about, or maybe something specific that you're struggling with in your weight loss journey, I would love for you to chime in the comments and let me know. I like feeling like I can create a video specifically for you in response to your questions. So whether it's a food, maybe a question about intermittent fasting, or a particular diet, chime in the comments, let me know your questions, and let's start with our first tip. Tip number 1 may sound a little silly, but it's to avoid overeating. Now, the amount of food that you eat at each meal does have a lot to do with which foods you're choosing to eat and how filling those foods are. But there's also this problem that the time it takes for our brain to register when we're full is sometimes a little delayed. So if we don't put the fork down before we feel full, there's a really good chance we're going to end up overeating. And when you overeat, not only do you kind of stretch the stomach out and make yourself more likely to overeat in future meals, but it also just kind of creates this really unhealthy habit for the body, because taking in too many calories at once is really not a good idea. So some ways you could implement this. Ask for a to-go box right when you get your food and portion off half of your plate to take with you and half of your plate to eat while you're there in the restaurant. Another idea could be sharing a meal with the person that you've gone out to eat with, or simply putting your fork down every 5 or 10 minutes and give yourself a couple minutes to see if you feel full, and let all of those messages from your digestive tract and your brain tell you whether or not you are really still hungry or just eating because it's fun. Tip number 2 is to reduce your stress levels. So there's specific research regarding the stress hormone cortisol with fat retention. And there's a lot of studies that link cortisol levels specifically with belly fat, which is one of the most stubborn areas of the body that we want to burn fat from. So this tip kind of has 2 pieces. Number 1, as we work to reduce our stress by drinking less caffeine, getting better sleep, or maybe implementing a bit of a meditation practice into our lifestyle, we can reduce that cortisol hormone that's associated with retaining fat. Similarly, when we're spending more time in our rest and digest or parasympathetic nervous system, our body is just more able to handle digestion, fat burning, fat metabolism, and all of those things that we want the body to be focusing on if we're on a weight loss journey. Tip number 3 is to stop drinking your calories. Now, I have an entire video dedicated to the worst drinks I recommend you to avoid and healthy alternatives. But the bottom line here is that we can stay really conscientious of how many calories we consume or how much junk food we're eating. But when we're drinking our calories, it's really hard to keep track. So if you can start replacing your sodas with water or sparkling water and just getting rid of those hidden sources of calories, that's a really good step in the right direction. The bottom line in terms of liquids is that water is really the only liquid your body needs. But if you're looking for other beverages to spice it up, one of my personal favorite things is coconut water. And we'll touch on this a little bit later when we're talking about empty calories in this video. The bottom line here is to really try to replace those sugary beverages with things a little bit more healthy and a little bit more friendly to our waistline. So for tip number 4, let's talk about empty calories and what that means. Basically, what we're talking about in terms of an empty calorie or a full calorie is how much nutrition that calorie delivers. So calorie for calorie, are you getting lots of nutrients, lots of fiber, or are you really just getting lots of sugar? So a great example of empty calories is a Coke, a soda. So here's something where you're getting a lot of calories, a lot of sugar, but virtually no nutritive value. And when we're talking about foods that fill you up, foods that satisfy your hunger, and in that way help you lose weight, you want to be focusing on eating real foods and avoiding those highly processed foods that are sources of empty calories. So some examples could be sodas, potato chips, white bread, and virtually any kind of processed food or junk food that you might find in a fast food restaurant. So these empty calories basically are going to contribute to our accumulation of fat, but they don't contribute to filling us up and satisfying our hunger. So tip number 5, we'll kind of take the other side of this tip, which is eating whole natural foods or real foods. And what you get when you do that are a lot of macronutrients, so your protein, carbohydrates, and fat, a lot of micronutrients like vitamins, minerals, trace elements, antioxidants, and fiber. And that fiber in the food is a big part of what helps fill you up and helps you feel really full and satisfied after a meal. So I actually did a whole video about how processed foods are specifically designed to make us overeat. And one of the things I talked about in that video is something called vanishing caloric density. And it's the way that things like potato chips almost melt in your mouth and vanish in your mouth really quickly. And that actually tricks your brain into not realizing how many calories that you've eaten. And it's one reason why it's really easy to sit there and eat a huge bag of potato chips or junk food and maybe even still feel hungry afterward. Whereas if you actually ate a potato, and we're gonna try to eat an equal number of potatoes that you could potato chips, you probably wouldn't be able to. And it's because when you're eating the whole natural food in its natural state, it has all of this fiber and other nutrients that help signal to your brain that you're full. So eating real foods is always gonna be healthier than eating a processed version of that food. So one of the best ways to tell a real food from a processed food is whether or not it has an ingredient list. And if there's no ingredient list, or there's one ingredient on the ingredient list, that's a really good way to know you have a natural, unprocessed food. So anything from your fresh produce department would be a good call. And then nuts are a great example. So I have some walnuts here. Not that you needed to know what walnuts look like, but the bottom line is that nuts are a fantastic hunger satisfying food because they contain a lot of fiber. They also are usually going to contain a good amount of protein, a good amount of fat. These are really good things to look for when we're looking for hunger satisfying foods. And then if you're looking for more snack type things, I love these freeze-dried fruits. So here you have something that is the natural whole fruit, and the only thing missing is the water. So something like this is not only going to still retain that fiber that helps you feel full and satisfied after eating it, but all of the different micronutrients and trace elements that we find in fruit are actually really good for us and can even help us lose weight. I have an entire video about fruit and weight loss too, if you want more info on that specific element of weight loss. So to apply this concept of real foods back over in our beverages discussion, we could think about how things like sodas and Powerade and Monster energy drinks are not present in nature. These are processed foods or processed beverages, and in this way, they're empty calories. They're really not going to give us any nutritive value, especially when you consider the huge amount of sugar and calories that they do give us. But then if we think about coconut water, here we have something that does indeed contain sugar, yes, but it also contains a lot of potassium, a lot of other minerals, and other of those nutritional elements that are really beneficial for our body. So if you're going to drink something sweet that also gives you nutritional benefits. When we're opting for those more natural foods and natural beverages, they're also easier for our body to digest and break down. And anything that helps improve your digestion is also going to help in your weight loss journey. Another great healthy beverage that I have recently stumbled onto and that I am now super addicted to are these little Ruvi drinks. So all they contain is fruits, vegetables, and nothing else. No added sugar, no added preservatives, nothing else is added. But when we're taking in, so each one has 4 servings of fruits and vegetables in it, and then there are a couple of different flavors of these drinks. But this would be a great thing to drink while you're working out, or if you are looking to just have something kind of tasty to sip on throughout the day, because you're getting lots of nutrients, so they're not empty calories. You're getting lots of fiber, so they can actually still help fill you up a little bit and keep you satisfied. And because there's no added sugar in them, they are very waistline friendly too. The last tip I want to leave you with today is that you do need to have some physical activity in your lifestyle in order to lose weight, or especially if you want to lose a significant amount of weight. And it's those cardiovascular workouts that elevate your heart rate and maybe make you sweat that really get you into that fat burning zone. So in addition to that, or if that is feeling super overwhelming to you, think about incorporating more activity into your lifestyle. So this could be something like having a standing desk or taking the stairs instead of the elevator. Maybe it's something simple like setting a little timer for yourself to remind you every hour, every 2 hours, to just get up from your desk and walk around, move around, or maybe even do a couple of minutes of exercise right there at your desk or in your cubicle. The bottom line here is that while getting those cardiovascular workouts in is very important, you can also do a lot for your waistline just by incorporating more activity into the activities you're already doing. I have made a lot of videos over the years offering you guys health tips, wellness tips, and of course we have a lot of workout videos right here on our YouTube channel. If there's anything else or any other questions that you have for me, I really hope that you will chime in down in the comments below and let me know so that I can address that in my very next video. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I want to thank you so much for joining me here. I hope that this video has been helpful for you, and I look forward to seeing you again very, very soon. Many of our subscribers don't see our videos. Make sure that you click the notification bell. And if you haven't already, follow us on social media for tips, tutorials, giveaways, and daily inspiration.
Introducing Yoga Plus, offering a free series every month with over 300 different videos. Take control of your health. Work out anytime, anywhere. Yoga Plus. Download now for free.